Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show, as usual. And on this Cricket Happening Show, I have to start this on a real sad note here, because as you would know, John Hampshire, who was an international umpire and is a Yorkshire man who actually died at the age of 76 in England. And just talking about John Hampshire, he started off as an Yorkshire player and then graduated. Got elevated as an after his playing days. He got he did a lot of service for Yorkshire, where he scored a lot of runs for the Yorkshire cricket team. And then finally, he was there in the 1960s when Yorkshire were dominating the English county cricket scene. And the reason that one thing that I would really remember is that, as you know, there was no concept of neutral umpires at one point of time as far as international cricket was concerned. Every home team which was actually hosting the particular series was having their own umpires actually umpire the cricket match. But the reason I'm talking about John Holder, this is what I remember him for, because the former Pakistan captain Imran Khan actually he was the one who really started the trend by in a Pakistan's home series against India. He said that he actually invited the Yorkshire umpire John Holder to come and actually become a neutral umpire, and that is the time the neutral umpires concept started really taking root. And it was John Holder who was invited by Imran Khan, and he came in to actually umpire in the home series against the Indians. So that is what I really remember John Hampshire for. But nevertheless, our condolences to the families of John Hampshire for his very sad demise. So from here, the other thing, as I just started this cricket show, there's news coming in that the West Indian cricket player, the opening batsman who really likes to blast the ball to all parts of the ground. I'm speaking about Dwayne Smith. Dwayne Smith has decided he has retired from all international cricket. So I will, if at all time permits, I will do a small profile on him. Now, the thing that I'm going to really start off with is going to be the fourth one-day international which was played between New Zealand and South Africa at Seddon Park in Hamilton. And as I said, that was a must-win match for New Zealand. And what a way they won the match. In a must-win match, New Zealand made sure, but the main architect of the New Zealand win by 7 wickets was the comeback man, Martin Guptill, who hammered the South African bowlers to all parts of the ground to crack an unbeaten 180 of 138 balls, 15 fours and 11 sixes to take the New Zealand home, chasing 280 runs on a slowish wicket. And considering the context of the pitch, one has to really credit Martin Guptill. And Martin Guptill, one thing one has seen, that when he hits centuries, they're all big centuries. He probably has scored, one was a double century which he scored in the World Cup. And after that, he has scored some biggies, real biggies. And Martin Guptill was the hero, and he sent the spinners out of the ground for sixes. 4 of his sixes actually went out of the stadium. So they were all monstrous ones, one could say. So New Zealand actually winning the match, and that was very important. And now the final ODI, which is coming up at Eden Park in Auckland, is going to be a real beauty, because the series, as I said, I said that in my start of this cricket series itself, that New Zealand and South Africa is going to be an exciting series. And now the one-day series has been level 2-2 with the final one going to be a real beauty at the Eden Park in Auckland, and one can't wait to watch that. So just talking about this game, the Eden Park in Hamilton, from the look of things, it was a dry pitch, and immediately Kane Williamson did something that no other captain has done in ODI history. And what he did was he actually handed over the new ball to two spinners. The first over was bowled by Chetan Patel, which was a very productive over, as he picked up the wicket of Quinton de Kock when Quinton de Kock was gone for naught, as the ball actually turned across the face of the bat, and Quinton de Kock was a goner, and that was a cruel blow for South Africa, especially considering that Quinton de Kock was one more 50. He had already scored 5 consecutive 50s in ODIs, and if he had scored one more 50, which would have been the 6th ODI 50, he would have set a new South African record for consecutive 50s. But nevertheless, he lost on that, and Quinton de Kock was out for naught. So as I said, this was the first time a team has actually operated in the first innings, that is in a match in an ODI match in the first innings, where the spinners are the ones who have bowled the first 2 overs. The first over was bowled by Chetan Patel. The second over was bowled by the left-arm spinner Mitchell Santner. Immediately one could see that what was the reason Kane Williamson had got both the spinners going right with the new cherry. And the reason being, this was definitely, it was a turning pitch. But one has to say that it didn't really cause much alarms later on, because one thought that the South Africans definitely went one spinner short, even though they had Imran Tahir and Dumini. Probably if Tabraiz Shamsi would have been there, probably things have been different. Well, that is something for them to see. So after Quinton de Kock went for naught, Hashim Amla was in his element. He was really showing the full face of the bat, in the sense he was playing his strokes with gay abandon, as he made 40 of 38 deliveries, 6 fours and 1 6, before Chetan Patel took his second wicket, as Hashim Amla was clean bowled for 40. Du Plessis was the one who was the sort of a real binding force there. He really chiseled together an innings of 67 of 97 deliveries with 4 fours. Dumini made 25 41 balls. He in fact inside just the delivery of the bowling of Tim Southee onto the stumps. He was gone for 25. But the main man was the South African player, Captain A.B. de Villiers, who went on to really hold the innings together for the South Africans in the company of the South African lower order, as A.B. de Villiers scored an unbeaten 72 of 59 balls, 4 fours and 3 sixes. David Miller was dismissed cheaply by Santner for 1. Pretorius was run out for 10. And Chris Morris made 28 of 27 balls with 4 fours, victim of Bolt. Parnell was run out on 29 of 12 balls, as he also had 2 fours and 2 sixes. And South African, if you look at the South African team, Kagiso Rabada and Imran Tahir can also bat. So definitely the batting is looking very strong. They bat deep down the order. And South Africa, one has to say, they still did pretty well, one thought, with a score of 279 runs for 8 wickets on a slowish wicket, which was definitely offering turn as far as spinners were concerned. Now, after that, let's have a look at the bowling. Chetan Patel, 10 overs, 2 for 57. Mitchell Santner was definitely the pick, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 40. After that, look at the pace bowlers and the pace bowlers bowling figures. Trent bowled 10 overs, cost him 71 wickets. It was an identical bowling analysis for Tim Southee as well. 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 70. Granholm 2 overs for 10. Kane Williamson 3 overs for 17. And James Neesham. Now James Neesham was a sort of a real revelation, I would say, because what one was seeing from James Neesham was that he looked to be a really changed bowler, and he was really making life difficult. Even A.B. de Villiers could not actually get him off the square and not play any really fancy strokes with James Neesham, because James Neesham was absolutely on target. And what one was seeing, that he has added a bit of variety to his bowling, and that will be interesting to see that how he goes in the other ODIs, because it was really very tough for the batsman to actually pick him up. and basically he was bowling some smart cutters, I would say, and it was really making life difficult for the batsman. So James Neesham did a good job as well. So as far as so they were given a target of 280 runs for the Kiwis in a must-win match to actually win the match, and let's see what happened. Brownlee was dismissed cheaply. Kagiso Rabada had him caught behind for 4, and Williamson was LBW to the bowling of Imran Tahir for 21 of 24 balls with 3 fours. But Martin Guptill was there, and he was joined in by Ross Taylor, and it all started 77 for 2 when Williamson departed. I mean, everything has started once Brownlee was gone. Martin Guptill was really very aggressive against every bowler he faced, and he was really hitting boundaries at absolute will. And also when the spinners came, he not only deposited them for sixes but hit some big sixes. In fact, as you know, Martin Guptill likes to always target the long off and long on area. So basically he's a very when he plays, he really plays straight, and that's what he precisely did. Is Martin Guptill was completely in his he was in some thunderous form, one could say, on his comeback, as he was really giving headaches to the South African bowlers by playing some very good strokes. At the other end, Ross Taylor was his partner, who was more playing a second fiddle, I would say, but it was Martin Guptill who had taken up the cudgels against the South African bowlers, one could say, as he really hammered them to all parts of the ground. And as I said, he also handled spin beautifully as he deposited them, and especially considering that there was some turn in the pitch, one has to really commend Martin Guptill for playing such a wonderful, it was not an easy pitch, I would say, and one has to commend Martin Guptill to have played such a wonderful innings, and not only a wonderful innings, a match-winning innings, to take New Zealand on to victory and level the ODI series in a must-win game. And really there should be a lot of commendation for this particular knock, as he had an unbeaten 180. He added, it was a big partnership from 77 for 2. It was basically 180 runs partnership that happened, of which the majority of the runs was scored by Martin Guptill, because 66 was Ross Taylor when he was departed of the bowling of Imran Tahir of 66 of 97, dealt 7 fours and 1 6. But almost the damage had been done by the time Taylor departed. It was only a matter of a mere formality with Guptill in the crease, and Guptill really completed everything in thunderous fashion, as he finished on an unbeaten 180 of 138 deliveries, 15 fours, and he smashed 11 sixes in this particular game. And as I said, some of the sixes that he hit were absolutely monstrous. They sailed out of the ground. So you can just imagine what was what tremendous power actually emanated from Martin Guptill's back. It was a real capital innings, one could say, under the circumstances, and took New Zealand, helped New Zealand level the ODI series, and he also took the Man of the Match award over there. Now, as far as the bowling was concerned, Rabada Ida was 1 for 41, Wayne Powell 7 overs 1 minute for 44, Morris 54 runs of his 9 overs, Dumini 3 overs none for 26, Pretorius 8 overs carved for 55, and for Martin Guptill did not make a difference as to who bowled. Every bowler who actually bowled to him came under the hammer. And Imran Tahir 10 overs 2 maidens 2 for 56, and that was the reason I said that if at all South African had one more genuine spinner like Imran Tahir, probably Tabraiz Shamsi, probably one does not know what would happen, but in looking at the way that Martin Guptill was batting, I thought there was no bowler who could have really stopped him. So definitely he deserves all the commendation, and Martin Guptill on his comeback match coming into the New Zealand team, and what a master stroke it was, because as you know, Tom Latham has been going through the horrors. He has been failing. So Tom Latham's failure actually made way for Martin Guptill to enter, and he entered the scene and returned like a hero today, as he was the man of the match. So South Africa and New Zealand will be contesting the final ODI, which will be played at Eden Park in Auckland this week, and that should be a real beauty. Now from here we get on to the as I said, Dwayne Smith, the West Indian batsman, has hung up his boots as far as international cricket is concerned. Just talking about Dwayne Smith, he made his debut in a test match against South Africa, and he got a century on his debut. Now looking after his test squad, I mean, he's more of a person who actually played at the top of the order. He had the ability to actually biff the ball to all parts of the ground. And what was good about Dwayne Smith, he was a perfect calypso batting star, as he could he could get a lot of power when he actually played the stroke, and especially his strokes over the mid-wicket and square leg region were a treat to watch, as he was really picking up the ball very well and beautifully putting it over the square leg and mid-wicket boundary, and also his drives through the offside are something which was absolutely sizzling stuff, one could say. But yes, talking about Dwayne Smith, at the age of 33, he has retired from international cricket, and as far as his contribution was concerned, he was an all-rounder. So basically, he was an aggressive opening bat. He was a very useful medium pace bowler, and he was also a wonderful fielder to boot. He had tremendous athleticism shown while he was fielding. Well, let's have a look at his batting career here. As far as Test was concerned, he was not really tailor-made for Test. The reason being that he was more of an aggressive character. He likes to really belt the ball, so he was not really tailor-made for Test. But he started off his career in Test matches. He had only a solitary century, and that was against the South Africans, which helped the West Indies actually draw the Test match, where he made his highest score of 105. He played 10 Test matches, and his average, if you look at it, is 24.62. But it is not about the average, but look at his strike rate in his ODIs. He played 105 ODIs. Is 97. He never scored a century in ODIs. 97 was his highest score, and he scored. And look at that strike rate of his in ODIs. He had a strike rate of 92.69 in one-day internationals. That really tells you. He was also, as I said, he was very good in hitting sixes. As far as T20 cricket was concerned, he played 33 matches. His average, if you see, it really would not really tell you anything about him. But look at that strike rate of his. He had a strike rate, his highest was 72 runs in T20s, and he had a strike rate of 122.27. So basically it was all about the strike rate as far as Dwayne Smith was concerned, and Dwayne Smith really entertained a lot of people around the globe as far as international cricket was concerned with his style of batting. And he also represented, he was a regular in the Indian Premier League, as you would know, and he played a lot of matches there as well. But one knows that in 2017 one is not going to see Dwayne Smith in India playing the Premier League, Indian Premier. The reason being is retired from all cricket, it seems. So one does not know whether he will play in the IPL. That remains to be seen. And in the IPL, his strike rate was 133.46, and he never hit a century. That was something that one was really wondering as why Dwayne Smith could not score a century in ODIs. At least in ODIs, keeping in view the potential that he had, one would have. He came close to it. He did 97, which was his highest score in ODIs. Let's have a look at his bowling career as a medium pacer. In Test matches, he took 7 wickets in 10 matches. In ODIs, he had 61 wickets in 105 matches. He had his best bowling haul being 5 wickets for 45 runs. And in T20s, he picked up 7 wickets in 33 matches, and 3 for 24 was his best. So it's goodbye to Dwayne Smith, the former West Indian aggressive opening batsman. As I said, he really used to play in the real calypso style batting, as you call in the West Indies, and it's really so he has ended up his career. He said that it's time for him to call time on his career. He also represented a lot of not only the IPL, he played in the Bangladesh Premier League. Right now, as he was playing in the Pakistan Super League, is the place where he actually announced his retirement. He also played for the Big Bash League and also for the NatWest T20 Blast, which happens in England. Nevertheless, thanks Dwayne Smith. As and when he got an opportunity, he was really a thorough entertainer. But what one thought about Dwayne Smith while I wind up this cricket show is to say that probably he was not getting the same consistency going. He definitely played in all the T20 World Cups that were played. Probably last 3 T20 World Cups he was there. He was also a fixture in the 2015 World Cup, as you know. So with this, by saying that Dwayne Smith, the West Indian opening batsman, has retired from all cricket, this is your host Ram, ending up the cricket show by bidding you all a very good night.